When your voice feels silenced, does God still hear you? When you feel cut off from others, does Jesus still come close? What if your deepest healing begins the moment you allow Jesus to touch the parts of your life you've tried to hide? In Mark 7:31-37, Jesus performs a miracle unlike any other, not with a crowd watching in awe, not with a simple spoken word, but with intimate touch and deep compassion. He heals a man who cannot hear and can barely speak. This passage teaches us something powerful about Jesus. He doesn't just fix what is broken, he honors the person who is broken. The story begins with Jesus traveling through the region of the Decapolis, territory far from the traditional boundaries of Israel, filled with people considered outsiders. But Jesus intentionally goes there, because his mission is not limited by borders, ethnicity, or religion. He goes where the hurting are. A group of people bring a deaf man to Jesus. The man is unable to hear, unable to understand the world around him. His communication is limited, his relationships likely strained, and his life isolated. He cannot express himself clearly, he cannot speak freely, and others must speak for him. These friends beg Jesus to lay his hand on the man. They don't ask for a speech or for a lesson, just a touch, because they believe a single touch from Jesus can change everything. And Jesus does something surprising. He takes the man away from the crowd, just the two of them alone. Why? Because Jesus always personalizes his love. Miracles are never mass-produced. Healing is never impersonal. Jesus sees the individual, not just the issue. This man, who has spent his entire life struggling to communicate, is now alone with the one who understands him perfectly. Then Jesus begins to speak his language, not with words, but with touch. He puts his fingers into the man's ears. He touches his tongue with saliva. To us, this may seem strange, but to a man who cannot hear or speak, touch is communication. Jesus is saying, I understand where you are wounded. I know exactly what needs healing. I am here with you. Then Jesus looks up to heaven and sighs deeply. That sigh matters. It is a sigh of compassion. A sigh that carries the weight of our brokenness. A sigh that shows Jesus does not heal mechanically. He heals emotionally. He is not distant. He is not cold. He is moved by our suffering. Then Jesus says one word, Ephphatha, which means be opened. Immediately, not slowly, the man's ears open, his tongue loosens, his voice is freed. The silence he lived in his whole life shatters. The isolation he felt daily ends. He can hear, he can speak, he can connect, he can be known. Jesus tells everyone not to tell others, but the people cannot remain silent. The miracle is too powerful to hide. The crowd explodes with praise. He has done all things well. He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. This declaration echoes the very heart of God. The Creator who first spoke the world into existence is now recreating what was broken by sin. Jesus doesn't just heal ears and tongues, he restores dignity and identity. Let's reflect on what this moment teaches us today. First, Jesus meets us personally in our pain. He takes the man aside. He touches the exact areas of need. He communicates in a way the man understands. God sees the parts of you no one else sees, the pain you hide, the fears you silence, the wounds you bury. Second, Jesus communicates beyond words. This man could not hear sermons, but he could feel a savior. Sometimes Jesus speaks through peace, comfort, tears, or presence, not just sentences. Third, Jesus heals the root, not just the symptoms. He doesn't merely improve speech. He restores the ability to hear truth, to receive love, to connect with others deeply. Fourth, compassion always comes before transformation. The sigh of Jesus shows his heart. He does not rush healing, he feels it. Fifth, your breakthrough may become someone else's testimony. The healed man's life becomes a proclamation of God's goodness. Now let's apply this personally. Maybe you feel like the deaf man today. You feel unheard, like your voice doesn't matter. You feel misunderstood, like no one knows the real you. You feel unable to express what you're going through, trapped inside silent struggles. Jesus comes close to people who feel cut off. Maybe your spiritual ears have closed. You once heard God clearly, but now his voice feels distant. Maybe your spiritual voice is restricted. You want to believe, to pray, to worship boldly, but shame or fear tightens your tongue. Jesus wants to touch those places. He wants to open what has been shut. He wants to free what has been stuck. He wants to restore what has been silent. Maybe you need Jesus to open your ears to hear his word again, open your heart to feel love and peace. Open your voice to speak life and truth. Open your purpose so you can walk boldly. Open your relationships so you can connect. Open your future so hope can rise again. His word for you today is the same. Be open. Whatever pain has closed you, whatever trauma has silenced you, whatever lies have bound you, Jesus commands freedom. Sometimes healing is loud and public, sometimes healing is quiet and intimate. But Jesus heals fully, beautifully, intentionally, lovingly. And after he heals, people notice. The transformation becomes undeniable, not because of what you say, but because of what he has done. This miracle also speaks to the mission of Jesus. He fulfills prophecy. The deaf will hear, the mute will speak. He restores creation, undoing the effects of sin and brokenness. He reveals his identity, not just a teacher, not just a prophet, but God in human flesh. Here is the final powerful message from this passage. Jesus not only wants to restore your senses, he wants to restore your soul. He wants to give you the ability to hear God's love. He wants to give you the voice to declare his goodness. He wants to give you a faith that cannot stay silent. And when he does, others will say about your life the same thing they said about him. He has done all things well. If you're longing for breakthrough today, if you feel unseen, unheard, or disconnected, know this. Jesus is not avoiding you. He is walking toward you. He is reaching for you. And he is ready to speak over your life. Be opened. Thank you so much for watching this message. If it encouraged your heart and reminded you that Jesus still heals what feels impossible, please like the video, share it with someone who needs this hope today, and make sure to follow and subscribe to Holy Path Insights for more powerful Bible-based teachings that help you grow in faith. May your ears hear God more clearly. May your voice declare his glory boldly, and may your heart be opened to all he has for you. God bless you.